Welcome to Rom Wills, Money Matters. Don't buy a money-draining car. Now, I'm going to tell you what. In this day and age, most of us got to get a car. Most of us. Now, you still got people that live in a city with good public transportation and all of that. But even then, most of us have to get a car, especially with the suburbs and everything and how cities are expanding. Most of us just want a car and everything. Yeah, very important thing to consider when getting a car is make sure it don't cost you more than necessary. In other words, don't get a money draining car. I would say in general, if you can get a new car, like you have that type of funding, oh yeah, that's cool. But remember, that car depreciates the second you drive it off the lot. It don't appreciate unless it's like a Rolls Royce or something like that. And if you got a Rolls Royce, I know you're just listening to me just because you just want to support me. I need to be listening to your videos if you have a Rolls Royce. But most other cars, they depreciate. And a car can be money draining, especially if it's like a high end car. It can be a money drainer. Now, let me be clear on it. If you have the funds to afford a high-end car that drains money, uses a lot of gas, and needs a lot of money to keep it up, oh yeah, by all means. And I would say as long as it doesn't hurt, if you can. But let's be real. A lot of people get cars that go way beyond what they can really afford. Keeping up with the Joneses. I mean, you got people, they'll get those like BMWs, those Mercedes and everything. And then have a house with a roof, a leak in a roof. They will get all of that because they want to keep up with the Joneses. Now, the expensive sports car, whatever, just trying to look good. And men and women are doing it, just to be clear. A lot of men do it because they feel like, hey, if I look like something, the women be interested. And ironically, you got a lot of women who will get these expensive vehicles. But it's a drain. It's taking a lot of money. And then that money could be going to something else. Indeed, even getting the car, just the car note, you could be paying $600 or something a month for some of those expensive cars. Plus the insurance, plus the gas. So it's not unreasonable to think you might be paying $1,000 a month. Now, if you making $250,000 a year, if you make it $250,000 a year, that $1,000 is a blip to you. But let's be real. Most people, even if they're making their money, no matter how, even high five figures, after you take out tax, you paying for rent, all this other stuff, that's a lot of money right there. And indeed, even before you even get that car, I would say don't get that car until you have a high down payment. But, that's I may do another video on that about buying a car. But you don't want to buy a car that's going to constantly run you money. And I mean beyond just putting gas in it. Now, that's bad enough. Like in my car, I put, how much? I think I put gas in it like maybe 4 times a month. And I do a lot of driving. But I have a very good car. See, that's the thing. It's not a money-draining car. Only repairs, even when I had my last car, my Hoopty, the only thing I really did with that was just get the tire, get oil changes, regular oil changes, and new tires once every couple years. That's all I did with that. But it wasn't a money drainer. And the car I got was a good used car that didn't cost as much. And to be honest, I don't see any real issues other than just regular maintenance. But it's not a money drainer. It's not spending a whole lot of money. It's not taking up a whole lot. And that's important because a lot of people get caught up in that money draining car. They get caught up into it. And it's basically your fortune is going right up with that car for something that's depreciating. Like I said, unless you got a Rolls Royce, these cars are not classics. You got to spend a lot of money for them. Indeed, you get some cars out here, depending on how long you have them, they can become like traps. Cars rusting out and everything. And that's costing you some money. See, people have to be smart about it, because think about the people who make money. That's one thing with them. If they get like that fancy type of car, if they bother to get that car, they're usually in a position to pay cash for it. And like I say, there's nothing wrong, and they can afford to keep it up. But then a lot of them don't even do that. They'll get an economy car. They'll get a regular car, And I'm talking about people with some real wealth. I ain't talking about celebrities or people trying to keep up with the Joneses. People with real wealth, they actually drive modestly. They'll drive an economy car because they don't want to put their money into that car. They don't want to put it. They don't want to put it in. Even people who tended to get these electric cars and stuff. Yeah, it costs a lot of money, but then as far as I know, the charges them for a long time. So, and that's different. And indeed, on a tangent, that's a business idea. Somebody might have came up with it, some way to charge the cars real fast, or maybe even like charging stations where they have little restaurants or something. Always got to start the business thing. But the thing is, when you buy a car, you got to think about it. That's with anything, but think about the car. When you look at the car, it's like, what's the gas? What's the miles per gallon? What does the blue book say? How often does this car have to be repaired? You need to look at all of that. And when you buy it, I'm gonna tell you what, it's actually best if you can get a good used car. It's actually best. One is cheaper than the newer car. And depending on time of year, you might be able to get a good, even a good deal on a new car when they're trying to sell the other ones. But whatever the case, you want to get a good deal on the car. So, but whatever the case, whether you get a new one or a very good used one, you got to think to yourself, is this going to drain my account? Am I going to put a lot of money into this car? And you don't want to do that. You want to get a good car that gets you from point A to B. You can travel a bit. You don't have to spend half your time in a repair place. And then you can take that money that you're saving, put it into your savings, and then possibly put it into investments to make more money. All right? So, y'all know the deal. Let's go make that money.